Hello everyone, Brian of Hearts here, and this is Dragon Force 2. I'm sitting down with my Bloody Mary, and I'm all ready for another relaxing session with Dragon Force 2. Today, I put some Worcestershire sauce in my drink, which was my mum's recommendation, and actually I think it's pretty good. Some people call it Worcester sauce, but I don't know, I've always called it Worcestershire. I guess we could call it the Imperins. But my mum was saying that she's saying it's nice because it's got a little bit of a salty kick to it, which I agree with. But she was saying that some people use clamato juice instead of tomato juice, which is clam and tomato, which I think sounds ghastly, like absolutely vile. And she was like, no, it's just like adding fish sauce to your Bloody Mary. I was like, that also sounds disgusting. Anyway, to Dragon Force 2, I've left this battle in at kind of normal speed because I like both of these characters. This is Hilda, who I mentioned last time. I think she's got a neat sprite, so it's nice to get a proper look at her. What is the other guy's name? I've forgotten. Bandas. He's kind of like this really old bandit guy. He's kind of cool somehow. So if you remember in the last part, I had Vanilla fighting against Isami and Corday as well, but they both got... Vanilla got knocked out in a duel, and I ran away with Corday. Okay, so going up against Dora this time is... Oh my, what is your name? I didn't read her name. Yikes. I wonder if I can find her. Purple-haired girl. Shuran. Okay, this is Shuran. She starts at level 10. She is she's one of the few martial artists. There's not many generals whose class is a martial artist, but she's one of them. Her element is water. She's a 38-year-old female human, and she's from Topaz. I think all of the martial artists are female, if I remember correctly. And I'm using Mark here against... Oh dear, I didn't read his name either. Oh, you can tell once I've had a drink in me, I'm not really paying attention properly. Oh dear. I could go back, but that would be admitting defeat. What is your name? I'll find him, don't worry. Maybe I won't. Oh dear. Okay, he's got a kind of brown face. Brown face. Where are you? Ah, curses. This is not working out for me. You're not Giuseppe. No. They have similar faces. Ah, curses. It was really funny when I was staying in Canberra. One of the people I was staying with, she's kind of an older lady. And she says everything is grim. She says, oh chaps, that's grim. She's ever so posh. It was really funny. Oh, that guy was... Oh my, this is a great name. Albrecht? Or Albrecht? I don't know, it's probably Italian or German. He's a 27-year-old male human, and he's from Highland. His element is wood, and his starting level is 2. He gets kind of an interesting array of skills. He gets Cross Slash, which is standard to soldiers, Wonder Plant, Dancing Sword, and Summon Plant. So he gets a mixture of sort of the soldier-based skills and the wood element skills. Oh, cheers chaps, sorry. Having a drink here without you, but if anyone's having a drink, cheers. Oh, I have to tell you a funny story about Cheers. Sorry, this is going to be a rambly one. But my little sister, when she was little, she thought... Oh, this is Kitty, by the way. She thought that Cheers was when you had two matching things. You know how Cheers, like, you take two glasses and clink them together and are like Cheers? She thought it meant, oh, we've both got glasses of a drink, so they match. So, I mean, this is a pretty good assumption to make at her age. This was when she was maybe like 5 or something. And so she used to go around, and whenever she had something the same as someone, like if you were both wearing a red shirt, she'd like kind of bump shirts with you and be like, cheers! And we didn't have the heart to tell her that it was horribly wrong because it was really cute. So she kept doing it until she was like about 14, and then obviously she found out and she came back to us and she was livid. She was like, how long were you gonna let me go on thinking that that was what cheers meant? But she got over it pretty quickly, and she's pretty good-humoured about it, and now it's kind of like a running joke in our family. Whenever anyone has anything matching, we always go cheers and put them together. So that's our little cheers story. Anyway, that was Kitty. I'll redo her biography, even though she's gone now. Kitty, she has a naginata as a weapon, but she also uses a bow. She's an archer. Her element is Earth. She starts at level 1. She's a 22-year-old female human, and she's from Izumo. She was born in a ninja village, and when she left her hometown, like her village, she went to serve under Kaede. And she has elf blood in her, and her archery is, the skill of her archery is good enough to match even that of Annette, who's supposed to be the best in the whole continent, is what it says. Personally, of the monarchs in this game, I actually quite like all of them. You might think at first glance the design isn't as interesting as in Dragon Force 1, perhaps. But actually I think the characterization in this game is a lot better. The story, although fairly short, is a lot more involved, and Sanith's story in particular is actually quite touching, so that's part of the reason I like her as a character. But for example, Goldark and Wayne, characters like that in Dragon Force 1 are kind of pretty two-dimensional. They're not that interesting. Whereas all the generals, all the monarchs in this game are actually quite interesting in their own right. All of their stories are quite interesting. Okay, so Izumo have sent, who's this? Oh, Rookless. Actually, I'm not really sure how you pronounce this. Rukurusu in Japanese. Lucrus or Rookless? Lucrus? I want to go with Lucrus. He's actually an interesting character. He's a collector. And this is all from memory. I should actually find his entry. But he collects award medals. He's a Dogu character. He's always talking about collecting things. And if you manage to convert him to your side, which actually isn't that hard to do, and he's actually a fairly good fighter. He starts at level 7, and he's a half Dogu. I'm sorry, he's from Pandaria. Oh, here I'm using Charm to get over 100 units, so if you wanted to see what that looks like, you can see it here. With Lucrus, if you use him in a battle, and he has less than 100 units, he has sort of a gap in his troops that you could award him a medal, and you don't award him a medal, he'll almost 100% of the time defect and leave your side, because he's not really serving you for any purpose other than to collect medals, to collect awards. So if you don't grant him a medal when you could have, he generally tends to leave your side. A way you can avoid this is using friendship coins to improve, or equipping him with the loyalty ring, if you're desperate to make sure he doesn't defect at any point. Once you've used him a couple of times and have granted him medals, after that, if you are a little bit lax and maybe don't grant him a medal when you could have, his loyalty tends to sort of err on the side of caution and he'll stay with you. But don't be surprised if the first time you use him you forget to give him a medal and then he leaves, because his loyalty actually starts a lot lower than many other characters. Okay, so unfortunately we're not quite out of the woods yet. There's still a few more. As you see, we've got rid of the brunt of the enemy's generals. There's sort of just a scant few generals still hanging around, and Kaede and Highland are sending kind of one general at a time after us. That's because we've managed to take out and capture most of their generals. So I'm going in again, not with my main party, but with the party I had stationed in Tradnor as a sort of backup to fight Barbaran. So Barbadang is level 15, which is actually very high, but he doesn't actually, he only has, I think it said 60 puppet warriors, mechanical warriors. Oh, sorry, 40. But in fact, you'll see that level does count for quite a lot in this game, especially when it comes to duels. So let me find Barbadang. Okay, Barbadang. He's a mechanical knight. His starting level is 15 and his element is iron. He's a 64-year-old male mechanical fighter and he's from Tristan. Okay, you might think I have the advantage here, but check this out. Yeah, ouch. Level counts for a lot, especially when it comes to duels, because obviously Barbaran's strength and his HP was a lot better than mine, being that my character was only level 3. But that's okay, because I went in with 4 generals against his 1, so that's okay. As I mentioned before, I'm not really that keen on the mechanical fighters, because he's level 15 and he only has... his starting MP is 3 at level 15, and he has 4 here, which means he probably has an equip, like a magic ring. And he only gets 2 skills, Triple Blade and Wave Breath, which I think is that 3-hit Sonic Boom. So you can barely use any skills, and his charge time is really, really low. He does, as you've seen, have decent HP and strength, but I'd rather have, for my playstyle anyway, I prefer to be able to use skills as much as I want. And with that nightmare turn is finally over. That took forever. And as you can see, we now have bajillions of prisoners of war because we defeated and captured so many people. So I'm going to probably take the next turn to sort of recuperate, at least to get a full complement of soldiers for my monarchs, if not some of my other backup generals as well. Once I've been able to do that, then I'll think about moving towards Izumo before I move down to take Highland or Bozak. And the reason for that is because Izumo kind of thrust in between my 2 territories. So if I were to go down and try to claim Highland or Bozak, in the meantime, while I'm focusing my strength down there, Izumo might pull out some nasty tricks. As you can see, I had over 30 award medals to give away, which means I fought over 30 matches. So yeah, I've given Bart ghosts, which are... In Dragon Force 1 you had zombies. In this game you have ghosts and I think undead are the other ones, which are actually ranged units. So they're a little bit different to the zombies in the first game. There are quite a few more troop types in Dragon Force 2 than there are in Dragon Force 1. Once I get kind of towards the end game and can afford to spend time farming for equipment, then I will spend more time doing research to get some of the rarer items to show you, especially the troop types. If I haven't already picked up units or discovered items in my castles that can grant me the use of some of the rarer and better units, then I will spend the time to at least synthesize them. Even if I don't end up using a unit with those troops, I'll at least show you, because they're quite interesting and there's quite a few fairly different troops to Dragon Force 1 anyway. So here I'm basically just reshuffling all of my units and refilling troops as here with Plat. Whenever you award a medal, it's you have to remember to fill up the maximum possible number of medals, and then I'm just checking out what Kaede has down here. So she had Yuria just there and only 3 generals in her main castle, and then the rest of her castles, although part of her territory, are completely unoccupied. So actually I absorbed the brunt of her force. Well, they sent it all at me. So actually taking her castle and taking her kingdom shouldn't actually be very difficult now. But that's provided I can take this time to recuperate and refill my troops. If you haven't been building up your castles, fortifying them, it can take quite a while to refill your troops in a situation like this, because the maximum number of mercenaries you have available to you is limited to begin with. So sometimes you do have to wait for a little bit.